Hi there. So I wanted to share a little bit about something that's on my mind in a really big way. I just had 4 sessions with teenagers and young adults, and one of the themes that came up in every one of those conversations, and it's not just in these last 4 sessions, but probably in the last 4 years of sessions with teenagers and young adults, I feel like the thing that seems to be the most helpful is when we get into a conversation around the fact that they're free, 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 free in a lot of ways, but free in the most fundamental way around that they're free to decide ultimately what direction they want to go, what choices they want to make. And this video is not about decision making. It's really about this bigger universal truth that as these humans on this earth, I feel like it can really look like we're not free. And the illusion of that can be so terrifying and frightening. I know I experienced that and have at different times. But as these young people who are trying to make all sorts of decisions, I see that it can help them feel really clear on what they really want when they let go of this idea that there's something riding on every single choice, that if they don't make the right choice, that they're going to be stuck somewhere. Or if they don't get the right grade, then they won't have the right option and they'll have less options. So I feel like it's about freedom in the most basic sense, that if something doesn't feel good, that they can walk away. And I know it gets complicated because there's all this stuff around commitment and following through and proving that you can handle tough things and all of that. I think those are important conversations to have. But my feeling is like the pendulum has swung so far in that direction where it almost feels like the values that so many successful, high powered, blah, blah, blah coaches even have, like the values are all about follow through and all about commitment. And what about commitment to self? What about commitment to our hearts and our souls? What about commitment to health? What about commitment to well-being? What about commitment to following an inspired line of energy? Like, what if that's what we could support these young people in being committed to? Like, what if that's just that's just as productive as anything else they could be doing? And I know there's a few things on my mind around this, but it's like I just see the clients that I work with where we get in these conversations that they're fundamentally free. It tends to help them take risks or do things that feel like risks, that they're not bound by some imaginary prison, and that's a thought construct that they can really get free from. And that's the thing, it's getting free inside themselves, free from limitation and free from ideas of punishment, um, ideas that they'll lose love, ideas that they'll lose respect if, let's say, they study, like, I don't know, go down the path of becoming a teacher instead of a surgeon, or becoming a surgeon instead of a teacher. Like, it's all made up in each person. There's a different set of ideas about what the right thing is. And I feel like there is no right thing. There's only what feels right for them in the moment. And I just want to be one voice out there in the world that's encouraging teens and humans to go down that path that doesn't necessarily look like a good idea, but it feels right. And to stop doing the things that are devastating to these young people's mental health and well-being, and to know that we can ultimately live in a state of appreciation and gratitude and freedom within, no matter our circumstance. But so many of us are not bound by anything real. We're not like Viktor Frankl, in the concentration camps. We're not in that kind of system, and yet we behave like it sometimes. Like we're going to be killed, or we're going to be ostracized, or we're going to be kicked out. And if we step out of line, or if we don't get the right grade or choose the right thing. And I feel like with these kids, to have a family and a society and a culture and a world where it's like, go explore, and to know that that can be in conjunction with becoming a responsible, capable, productive human being. It's not the opposite. In fact, so many of those young people that just like do everything right, get the grades, get into the school, go to the college, do the thing. It's like those are the people that when they are 30 or 40 or 50, they're having a midlife crisis because they're like, what the hell have I been doing? I've been living by somebody else's rules. And these are just my thoughts. These are my little rant on, gosh, I just wish these young humans had it a little easier and were appreciated in a bigger way for who they are right now, and really appreciated for the weight that has innocently been put on them to do it all right, and to make the right choices and to make good choices. And often the criteria for what those choices are, I just see it's like it's off. It's not about encouraging a young person to really tune into themselves and slow down, listen to their heart, listen to what's true, and go experiment. And no, they might have a feeling like, yes, I want to go to this college, clear as a bell, it's the perfect place. And then they might hate it when they get there. And what's wrong with that? Like, so they might learn to adjust, and they might get some ideas about joining clubs or making new friends, or they can make the most of it. But the truth is, if they're in a space within where they're tanking, another option, instead of looking at them as an issue that needs solving, it could be, why not change the environment? Why not, if there's something else occurring inside, why not listen? Like, let's be quick to course correct, quick to listen and take action. I don't know a single person that's like, I'm so glad I stuck in that marriage for 20 years, even though I knew it was wrong. I'm so glad I stuck out that job for 50 years, even though it sucked my soul. I don't know anybody that talks like that. I think mostly it's, I wish I had changed my mind quicker. I wish I had let myself play more and be free and move from job to job and have a varied and rich life experience. And I'm also aware right now, I'm not really talking about the kids and the people that really love the way things are kind of set up. They love the system. They're like, give me the system. I like the school, and then the college, and then the job, and the ladder. Like, I like it all. What I'm really talking about is all those kids and those humans that doesn't work for them, that they are struggling with the system. And my feeling inside is like, they're not the issue. The system is not healthy for everybody. There needs to be some space for these kids, and there is. And I work with so many families that are freaking amazing at creating an environment in their homes and in their family and with their kids where it's like, there's freedom. There's freedom to experiment and play. And there's also expectations that kids work and make a living and do all the things, but there's so many ways to do that. And just being one of those kids that didn't love the system, and then growing up and growing out and dropping out of school and then going back when I was ready, and getting some master degrees and doing the whole thing on my own time and from my own internal feeling. I started a business when I was 21, and I didn't have that as I didn't have an example of that, of like, oh, my parents, my parents are free thinkers. So I think that's like, there was a lot of encouragement in that way. But I love talking to a young person and being like, okay, you're graduating high school and you have no idea what to do and you feel pressured in this way and pressured in this way. What about looking at all the options? Like, you could just go to a trade school, you could start working, you have resources, you could travel, you could intern, you could sleep for 6 months. You've probably been tired since you were 4 and started school. You could do anything. There's nothing you can't choose. Some of the young people I talk to are like, well, my parents are paying for everything. And I say, well, if your parents won't pay for you to take a gap year, get a job, start a business. You're resourceful. You're free to create what you want. You can do that now. You can do anything now. There is nothing set that's A plus B equals C. It's like jump to F. You can jump. It's all made up. You're free. This is something that I just see over and over again is relaxing. It's like rejuvenating. It's enlivening. And I just want to say, I don't have all these clients that are just like sleeping at home all day. They're lit up with the encouragement to follow that small voice inside that's saying, gosh, I love being in nature. Maybe I'll see what I can do that puts me in nature more. Or the little voice that's like, I really want to be around animals, or I really want to learn more about plants, or I really want to write or sing or dance or study science in a hands-on kind of way. And just with some like, fuel that flame, there are pathways that open up. And I see it's just about encouraging them to remember that they're free, totally free, which is true for all of us. And I think that we forget. So I just wanted to share that. If you have a young person in your world, just remind them that they're free. And of course, if they're in some like internal turmoil or difficulty, it's great to talk it through and help them know about their own inner state and how there's peace in here and all of that good stuff. But freedom to be in this world, to remember that they're in this world and they're not bound, can be very helpful. There's so many stories about people who started their heartfelt career in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. And there's just this like, I'm going to say it's like this pandemic of pressure for these young people to figure it out. And I feel like, going into the pandemic a bit and the immunity and the immune systems and all of that, it's like our immune systems tend to thrive and support us through so much when we're not in stress and we're not in pressure and we're not in a constant state of worry. And just in service to greater health on all levels, it's like, how can we relieve some of that? And also know it's not, relieving pressure does not go hand in hand with becoming a couch potato. It's just the opposite. in my mind. It's like pressure can equal a lot of stagnation. Freedom, encouragement, creativity, possibility, it tends to create energy. All right. Thanks for listening.